Today we'll recap a 2014 Chinese horror thriller film named Midnight Hair. An expecting couple moves to a rural mountain villa. Shortly after arriving, they begin experiencing horrific supernatural occurrences. Kindly remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you liked the video. At the beginning of the movie, we see a girl when an old lady comes to her and says that never look into the mirror and combs her hair at midnight, otherwise she will attract the ghost. Then after they leave, the girl's reflection picks up the comb and her hair starts spreading inside the house. Next, we see Amo with his wife 𝐈𝐈, who is 2 months pregnant. They move to a mountainside villa owned by his friend 𝐀𝐋𝐖𝐀𝐃𝐄𝐒. Now 𝐈𝐈 loves the villa and looking at the house. She sees a painting of a child and behind her we see someone passing by. Then she hears some sound and when she goes towards that side, we see another similar painting. She finds a locked room there and then suddenly Amo comes there. She tells him that there seems to be someone inside. Amo tells her that there is no one inside and this is 𝐀𝐋𝐖𝐀𝐃's room. But as they leave, a hand comes out of the room. Amo then brings her to their room and they start romancing. Now during this time we also see a red doll in the room. Next, 𝐈𝐈 sees something in the bathroom that makes her scream out loud in fear. But when Amo goes to check, she lies in the bathtub and says that she got very excited seeing the bathtub. Now they start romancing again and someone stalks them. Then at night, we see a ghostly lady and the red doll also moves her head. Now the next morning 𝐈𝐈 notices that doll and picks it up and puts it near the mirror. Then Amo goes to the market to get some stuff. Where on the way he sees a woman sitting in a black robe, who comes in front of his car after going a little further. Now Amo gets a little scared and comes out of the car, but sees no one there. Here in the house, 𝐈𝐈 is cleaning when she hears something from behind a door. And here we see a woman who disappears as soon as the door is opened. 𝐈𝐈 stops a moving swing chair and we see a lady outside the window. Now while having dinner, a bunch of hair comes out of 𝐈𝐈's mouth, due to which she runs away from there. Then Amo follows her and she says that she is fine. Then after a while, he sees 𝐈𝐈 doing her hair while sitting in front of the mirror. But for a moment he sees someone else, and here Amo asks her that don't she know it will attract the ghost if she combs her hair at midnight. Then at night Amo sees a girl's ghost in front of the mirror and he asks her if she is kinking. The ghost tells him that she wants her comb back and suddenly Amo wakes up from sleep in fear. The two then visit the orphanage that Amo grew up in to become fundraisers. They tell 𝐁 that if she faces any problem in the future, she can contact them directly for help. Then looking at orphanage photo album, 𝐁 tells 𝐈𝐈 about a boy named 𝐈𝐿, who died because of an accident when he was 10 years old. Later that night while 𝐈𝐈 is bathing, a ghost lady emerges from the bathtub and suddenly turns into a doll. Then she sees her in the mirror doing her hair, and then she starts moving toward her which makes her scream in fear. Now when Amo goes to her, he tells him about the ghost, but when Amo checks, she sees that doll there and he tells her that there are no ghosts. Later, 𝐈𝐈 tells her to throw the doll away, and after throwing it out, he explains to her that it must be due to mental stress. And then we see the ghost holding that doll. Now at night, 𝐈𝐈 hears a string game song and tries to wake Amo. But then she goes to check alone when suddenly the clock strikes 12. She notices that the sound is coming from a room, where she finds a tape inside a cupboard and she turns it off. But then she notices a child on the chair and suddenly wakes up from sleep. Here we see her in the hospital, where the doctor tells them that it is normal to have some depression and mood fluctuations during pregnancy. Now 𝐈𝐈 tries to convince him that there is something wrong with the house, and Amo again sees that woman in a black robe on the way. Later at home, 𝐈𝐈 takes out the painting from the wall. Next, Amo asks 𝐀𝐋𝐖𝐀𝐃 if there is something wrong with the house, to which 𝐀𝐋𝐖𝐃𝐃 says that there are no ghosts in the world. Amo then asks him is it possible that her soul is back. Now when Amo is on his way back home in the night, he sees a ghost lady running along with his car, which scares him and he gets into an accident. Then when he regains consciousness, 𝐀𝐋𝐖𝐃𝐃 stands outside his car. Amo tells him that he saw the old woman again, who looks horrible and it feels as if she is burnt. 𝐀𝐋𝐖𝐃 fixes his car and says that since he is here with him, the ghost dares not to approach him. After that Amo leaves for home. Now at home, he tells 𝐈𝐈 about the accident, after which she puts a band-aid on his injury. Now Amo gets horny here and they both start getting intimate. But then 𝐈𝐈 becomes kinking and grabs his throat and suddenly he wakes up screaming her name. Now the next day 𝐈𝐈 asks her about kinking, to which he tells that she was his friend in orphanage. Then he tells that in orphanage, she used to comb her hair in front of the mirror at midnight, and used to scare others by saying that they should not comb hair at midnight, otherwise it would attract the ghost. Just then the bell rings, and when Amo opens the door there is no one there, but there he finds a box with a note inside, which scares him. Next, he shows 𝐀𝐿 the note that says, "I know your secret." He tells him that 𝐁𝐄𝐒 sees a ghost in white with long hair, and he feels it too. Here at home, 𝐁𝐄𝐒 sees the painting hanging on the wall again, and as she removes it, a note falls behind her and a ghost is about to grab her head. But the bell rings. Then when she opens the door, no one is there, but she also finds a box with a note inside, and she too gets scared seeing that note. Then we see Amo installing cameras at the house. Now at night, Amo sees someone on the screen, seeing which he gets very scared. Then after a while, 𝐁𝐿 also wakes up and comes downstairs where she sees Amo leaving the house. Then the ghost lady walks upstairs from behind her, which she notices and follows her to 𝐀𝐿's room. But it is locked. Then she breaks the lock and enters the room, where she finds some photos in which Amo is with 𝐂𝐿, and only then does her ghost haunt her, fearing that she runs away and falls down the stairs. Next, we see both of them in the hospital, and here we learn that 𝐁𝐿 has had a miscarriage. Now 𝐁𝐿 had pulled some hair while running away from the ghost. Now arriving back home from the hospital, 𝐁𝐿 forces Amo to reveal the truth about 𝐂𝐿. He tells her that he and 𝐂𝐿 maintained their relationship well to adulthood, but 𝐂𝐿 apparently left him for a rich man when he struggled with money. She was subsequently killed by 𝐀𝐿, who justified his actions due to her unfaithfulness. Now here 𝐁𝐿 says that 𝐂𝐿 is not dead and shows him that hair. Amo is a little surprised but can't believe it, and says that last night 𝐀𝐿 showed him 𝐂𝐿's corpse. Just then the bell rings and he finds another box, warning about not combing her hair during midnight. She then goes in front of the mirror and, combing her hair, starts calling 𝐂𝐿. Then suddenly she comes from behind her, which frightens her a lot. Then 𝐂𝐿 leaves and 𝐁𝐿 starts following her. She tells 𝐂𝐿 that 𝐀𝐿 has killed her, but she tells 𝐁𝐿 that 𝐀𝐿 does not exist, and she leaves from there. Now the next day 𝐁𝐿 goes to the orphanage where she learns that 𝐀𝐿 is a nickname given to 𝐁𝐿, the son of two imprisoned thieves whose only friend in the orphanage was Amo. One day, the two escaped from a locked room they were imprisoned in for robbery but slipped through the roofs. The dean chose to save Amo over 𝐀𝐿, as Amo is her grandson born out of wedlock. Then one day Dean felt guilty and gave offerings for 𝐀𝐿, but suffered a heart attack and died with her face burnt. Later, 𝐁𝐿 sees a woman entering their house, and when she comes out, she finds the file on the table, when Ghost tells her that Amo is 𝐀𝐿. But then she reveals that she is 𝐁𝐿, 𝐂𝐿's younger half-sister. She apologizes for the miscarriage and states that she wants 𝐁𝐿, Amo's real name, to confess to his murder of 𝐂𝐿, the latter having supported 𝐁𝐿's leukemia treatment and being the only family who supported her. Then one day suddenly 𝐂𝐿 disappeared, and it was only after her disappearance Amo bought a villa and a car while he was just a common staff in a company. Then when 𝐁𝐿 moved into the villa, she felt that she must be related to her sister's death. So she disguises herself as a ghost to scare her and tell the truth, as people would tell the truth if they are scared. Now whatever activities were happening in his house, all that 𝐁𝐿 was doing. Then following Amo, he saw that he used to talk to himself alone. Then Amo calls her and says that 𝐀𝐿 will help them to move from this house. Now after some time when Amo comes home, 𝐁𝐿 welcomes him, but he is talking like 𝐀𝐿. Then when she calls him 𝐀𝐿, he becomes Amo. Now seeing the dissociative identity disorder, 𝐁𝐿 gets confused and asks him to confess himself to the police. She shows him the papers of the villa he bought under the name of 𝐁𝐿. She tells her that 𝐀𝐿 is dead, but he does not believe her and says he was just with him. Suddenly he changes into 𝐀𝐿, which scares her, and when she tries to call the police, he knocks out her and bounds her. He then confirms his deeds, including the murder of his grandmother. He then tries to kill her but is unable to do so due to Amo's memories of their relationship resurfacing. He then decides to commit suicide to prevent himself from harming 𝐁𝐿 even further. She frees herself and watches him die in front of her eyes, and a flashback shows the memories of Amo and 𝐀𝐿. After a few days, she visits 𝐁𝐿 at the hospital to inform her that Amo left some money for her and 𝐂𝐿, so she could pay her bills, wishing her recovery and saying that she is not alone anymore. Next, she visits Amo's orphanage and sees a girl named 𝐁𝐿, whose family has committed suicide by jumping the building. She is horrified when she notices the red doll with her. We then see Aang Yang singing the string game song in front of the mirror, and a hand grabs the doll before the movie cuts off. Thanks for watching.